from. I think they finished 5th in their group, which is pretty good considering the group they were in. And yeah, I think they definitely have the firepower to upset a few teams. But again, I think the main goal for them this season is to learn as much as they can, play against some really good opposition, and you know, keep working on what they're working on.
Yep, and just to very quickly give some context, Prodigy actually finished 4th in a group with Man Esports, Antic, the old Antic, that's right, not X-Antic, but the old, yeah, technically X-Antic actually, and 5 Sharp. So they have definitely held their own in that group. But Dev, I heard a deep breath as you went to announce something.
No, I was literally just breathing, man, actually.
Okay. Can you stop?
Oh, no, that's kind of toxic, dude.
Don't stop breathing, please.
Yeah, look, both of these teams came through the Open qualifiers. Both of them played in the rivals, and neither of them did particularly well. Yeah. Of course, you were actually, both of you were working on that. I wasn't, but I had a look at the results, and Prodigy ended up in top 8. ODIUM ended up just below that. But Prodigy was actually the team that ended up at the bottom of the qualifiers for this tournament. They had to go through the last chance, and they took on ODIUM, which I'm a little bit confused. That was actually the old ODIUM that they lost to. So it is a bit confusing.
So ex-ODIUM?
Ex-ODIUM, which is now Super... It's confusing, because technically Prodigy, the last game they played was actually against ODIUM, but it was the other ODIUM roster, and they did get smacked 2-0. But yeah, as far as I'm aware from looking through the results, I don't believe these teams have actually versed before.
You got excited for a second
You
there,
thought it was going to be Lair.
Yeah, Lair was being quite late. I was thinking maybe we might be able to see it. But yeah, Border picked, and I think this is a good map for both teams. It definitely favors more aggressive defenses, which I think both of these teams will naturally be accustomed to.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the real sort of way to win this map is to be aggressive on defense and not allow attackers to really take as much map control as they want to. And yeah, it'll definitely be just which team can sort of fulfill that plan.
We've actually had a pretty spicy night of Siege, if I do say so. We had Labs, Consulate, Sky, and Border. Is that right? That's a pretty decent showing. So clearly the OCE pool is deeper than what it used to be. Border though, Dev. Who's your pick on this?
Look, you know me, like I'm all about my spreadsheets. The thing is, these teams are so new and have played so few games that my spreadsheets are literally broken. I have a few results for ODIUM back when they were E5 and Sigma, which was their old names, but they've been through 3 names, which makes things very difficult. For Prodigy, like I literally have to go back and look through their results, and I can't see them playing Border. Like they played the Week Esports in the match that they qualified to join this competition, and they won Skyscraper and Nighthaven. And of course, it was actually ODIUM that banned both of those maps, so that makes a lot of sense. As for ODIUM, the most recent impressive result that I saw from them was on Bank, where they beat ODIUM, as in the old ODIUM, like when these guys were Sigma. Anyway, and they played Bank, and that's why Prodigy have banned Bank. So the TLDR of the whole situation is we know very little about this. These teams, in theory, should be neck and neck. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they've directly head-to-head faced each other, at least in recent history. And yeah, I think this is literally like a 50-50.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it? No more?
That's it. No more.
No more muss?
No muss.
Not uno mas, just no more.
No more.
No more muss.
No more. No more muss. All right, let's get underway with our final match of the night. It's unfortunately, just checking my notes, it's the bottom of the barrel casters. I think they did like an SI grand final or something.
Oh no, I'm 2-center now. Hang on. There we go. I did it. Did it, Rob. Look, I'm okay. Last game of the day. It's been a really long one. A couple of tech issues into rehost, some really long games, double overtimes that we had. But we get to the last match of the day for Play-Doh 1 of Stage 2. And it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new names within, I guess, the Pro League level of Oceania, guys. So I guess we can end the night on a good note where we can maybe see some of the new faces looking to, you know, that change of guard, make their name for themselves, see who's the next cream of the crop.
Yeah, let's see. Again, with that comes a lot of unknowns, as Dev highlighted on the desk. Border, though, a staple map being around for yonks. And intrigued to see how these players approach it. Probably going to be quite aggressive and may alleviate, in some respects, some of the attacking woes that teams may experience. Tends to be the case with newer rosters. But yeah, eager to jump in. I think it's a good tester for both and helps sort of benchmark them against one another and the rest of the league.
I want to say there's not a single player in the lobby right now that's actually played at this level before.
I'm almost 100% certain.
I'll let you run with it.
Yeah. Maybe I feel like I've heard of Mackenzie before, though. So I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like a Mackenzie, Faulty, those names seem a little bit more familiar. But for the most part, right, the consensus here is that these guys are very much coming in for both teams. Fresh slate, new names, in this case a new organization as well with Prodigy. Welcome on in. ODIUM, of course, picking up new roster. And they will be on the defense first up as well. Montaigne banned out. Dirk could be banned out as well. Same with the Mirat. And looking to then close out with the final defensive op ban. Final game of the day, on to Border. Should be a fun one. As you said, hopefully that kind of more aggressive nature. Not expecting the most methodical siege to come through from either of these two teams, but I'm really excited to kind of see what we get from them. You know, we've got, I would say, what, 3 teams that we don't really know a whole lot about. One of them's bound to hopefully be, you know, somewhat competitive and maybe surprised, so it could be one of these two.
Or they could just all be bad.
That's the pessimistic side.
Well, you know me.
Well, you are very pessimistic.
Well, I'd say I'm more of a realist.
That's true.
A nihilist as well. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day,
If the
nothing really matters.
If the optimism is there, then you'll be optimistic. How
If I see good things, I'll say this is good. If I see bad things, I will say this is bad.
Yeah. How optimistic were you of Supernova winning that last game? Were you surprised they ended up losing it, or ultimately not?
Well, it's kind of a weird one. I think Sage probably said it himself. A lot of the first half, Blitzer and GG came in, were in winnable positions and failed to close out rounds where they probably should have, and the same could have been said about Supernova in the second half. So
it's true.
I thought they had a real shot in regulation. Even
well,
even OT with
5 shots
with an
overall.
attack off the bat.
5 chances and couldn't win one of them. So, either way, so with 2 overtimes today, taking us all the way back to the opening matchup of the day. With Antic losing out. Who'd they lose to again? My old
Outlast.
Brain. Outlast. So Outlast could very well end the day top of the standings, guys. Depending on what happens in this matchup.
We're going to need a community note on that. We need a fact check.
Well, we've had 2 overtime games.
Yeah.
So
it could be onto something
It just
here.
depends on the round differential.
Yeah. Indeed it does.
Is that enough of a community fact check for you?
Yeah, it's good enough.
All right, ODIUM, Prodigy, final game of the day. Get a reminder in terms of Oceania League, we return next week for what will be a super week.
Yep, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
At Tom J. Sherlock, I saw your tweet.
Yep. If you want more Siege, though, of course, and good Siege, we got Asia League this week. You can always tune into.
Wait, isn't EUL today? Oh, you said good Siege.
I said
Sorry.
good Siege.
Sorry, my apologies. I will say the one thing that EU has over us in both Asia and OCE is they have played Lair. It wasn't the best Lair I've ever seen, but it was Lair.
That is true. Oh, here we go. Davey on the blitz. Well, shot in the back. That's an easy 1-2 with your teammate in terms of coordination. Nicely done from Bake and Davey. Just like that, ODIUM already on the ropes defensively here on Border. I feel like this is going to be, I think, a very familiar scene throughout this half, maybe even then into the second half, flipping sides with Prodigy too. Defense may struggle. Border's the kind of map where if you just miss position, so easy to lose your life.
Yeah, I mean, you lose one player, that's a big key position that can now be exploited. Prodigy, though, to their credit, don't overstep their mark. At least they're trying not to.
Careful.
I think Davey wants to try and cross for the plant. Might not matter, though, if they can clean up these picks. Freelo, Hale, both left on their respective islands.
So they're both playing off each other, though, right next to each other. So it's like one big island. The Hive launcher giving away Freelo's possession. Blitz still pushing in the end. It's all pretty easy for Prodigy. Faulty gets the last 2. Who were very much playing very close by to each other. I don't know what Oldmate's looking at the end there. Either way, good start for Prodigy on the attack of Border. I think you kind of made the slight comment regarding the attacking nature of this map, and I think the opening round is very much proven.
Well, it snowballs for attack if you get the opening pick, and the first round has already highlighted
That's a lot of bees.
The strength of the Blitz in combo with Grim. I wouldn't be too surprised if that combination, or at least at minimum Blitz, continues here, especially for map clear. And the onus then on ODIUM on the defensive side to try and concoct a way to counter it, which is tough in this matter. It is very reliant on establishing crossfires and on border of defense. If you commit too many players to a particular position, it means there's weaknesses elsewhere, so it's a fine balance. But that's where the money's made, right? Defensively, if you can shut down shields at the moment, you're going to put yourself in a good spot.
Yeah. I'm definitely keeping my eye. I think with, these teams respectively Prodigy, ODIUM, some degree. You know, you look at like even Outlast and looking at particular players, individual names, who are going to become the new names that we kind of look at as household names within the region. There's always, you know, you think of like Brendo used to be like tier 2, right? And now is regarded as one of the best players, if not the best player in the region.
I feel like I should just step in very briefly here and say that you have a history.
I do have a history.
Of cursing players.
Well, I'm on Brendo at the moment, and he's playing fine.
Pretty sure you've never hyped up Brendo to...
I call him the young goat.
Yeah, but that was after he already was. You have you have a history of
I came in and Geo was already probably on the downtrend.
I don't know. History speaks for itself. You hype up.
Okay, you're talking about
most
like,
players. You hype.
Do you remember Phoenix?
Yeah.
I hyped him up as the next Jigsaw.
No. So if you're one of these up and coming, players, the last thing you want is to tune in and hear Xenox, you know, hyping you up.
Oh well, look, I just try and catch them early, and if they fail, that's on them.
He's brutal.
Opening kill for Faulty. Hale will go down quite easy. 2 rounds in a row now that Prodigy have been able to get the opening kills. That's another one. Yeah, that Ray's just sitting in the corner.
Yeah, too many freebies on the entry. And again, puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the defense. Salvaging this round almost impossible, especially with the blitz still up.
Very much want to preface here for those tuning in off the back of the previous game that we had. The quality that we're going to see from this match certainly is not going to match a team that's had so much international experience, have been doing this a long time. Their competitor also at the top level within this region for a long time. These are new faces, both teams. All 10 players inside of the server. Prodigy get another round to go their way, this time flawless. So expect, especially considering this is play day 1 for these guys. First time at this level. Got to give them leeway. Probably some nerves. Great start for Prodigy, though. They've actually looked pretty good on the attack. Not doing a whole lot that's outside of the normal convention of attacking and to border, but ODIUM feels like positioning is letting them down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Prodigy are identifying these players off-site that aren't receiving support and then sending the right conditions to take them down, utilizing the blitz as well in particular moments as well quite nicely. So as an attacking unit, it's pretty difficult to fault them. ODIUM, though, needing to... If they're going to play like a peel defense and try and fall off, they need to be a little bit more cautious. But if they want to double down and hold that map control, then they need to be banding together and actually working off one another. It's okay to lose a pick if traded, but that trade potential hasn't really been there from what I've been seeing.
Everyone has their journey. You think of Oda back in the very, very old days with Repix, that first iteration of the the Bliss roster. It took them a long, long time before they even got to contending in the region. Then subsequently the whole best of 3 meme for quite a lot of time. Failed twice in APAC South Quals before eventually Oda became essentially a champion of the region and went on to do some great things internationally. Everyone has their journey and where it begins. 5-0 start for Faulty. The team's looking good inside of the server for Prodigy. For ODIUM, it's going to be a question of who can kind of get on the board. Hale's got 1 kill. No one else really able to fire a shot. Got to play off each other. It looks like right now the way that they're setting up defensively is almost like everyone's just kind of playing their one. Everyone's holding their own. There's no real cross within the site. No one's really holding down certain positions to play, almost like a bit of a zone where you're holding an area. It's more almost just like holding angles, and then you're just losing all the ones. No movement around. I mean, it's border, guys. Like, come on. Use the map. Try and get map control. Deny Prodigy entry. Right now, Prodigy are just walking around for free. There's no contest. The race is over, at least towards Fountain. Right in a decent spot. So they will contest up above in terms of holding Vert. But this is too easy for Mackenzie. No util. Oh, headshot angle. Little peek from Mackenzie. Does not win that one out. Crone holds his own on the Azami.
Yeah, blitz spotted.
Swinging out there is a little bit intriguing. Gets away with it. Had there been more pressure, he could have lost his life for nothing in the end. Razor, 1-for-1. Advantage for Prodigy at the moment in a 4 versus 3. So much time getting this Vert as well established. Second floor control is there now for Prodigy. Still with the blitz. They can help them facilitate towards site. But Freelo from below. Get himself a kill through customs. Okay, evens things up. And certainly the first round of the half where ODIUM looked just a little bit more competitive.
So 3 versus 3. A minute on the clock and the Blitz still standing. No smokes in pocket though. Still though, Ray on the water may be looking to have impact from afar. Prodigy have time here to cook up a final push. Maybe obtain another layer of info. Upside down rappel, plant going down. Will they be able to deny the cross? Mackenzie is good for one. Plant denial will not land. And so Ray and Freelo need to retake.
Difficult with the shield. You know, the Blitz can kind of just sit in the corner. If Prodigy don't have someone to play off of Davey here, though, he could be left on an island. And now there is. Faulty's got a good position there in the end, round 1. Pistol out after the flash. Nicely done from Prodigy. Actually played the Blitz quite well in that round, and that's 3 rounds in a row where Prodigy have not faltered on their attacks. They've been able to get in, get a lot of site control, map control, entries not really being denied. They're winning a lot of their contact fights. Tactical pause now called by ODIUM. Not happy with the opening 3 rounds. It is border, though. Attack is certainly going to be a little bit more prevalent. I think especially with these 2 teams respectively at this level, I think we're very much expecting attack to be, you know, where you're going to win the majority of your rounds, but you're going to need at least something on the defense, at least 1 to 2 rounds.
Yeah, I like the attack early though. Teams, often the ones that lack experience, will hold tactical timeouts until it's too late in the piece and the match is all but over and there's not really an opportunity to salvage something. So we'll see what the discussions actually translate to inside of the server. I can only assume that a lot of it is going to be centered around the Blitz counter. It is proving to be a challenge. I think there may be some more opportunities in that previous round to utilize Vert C4s. I think there may have been an attempt that didn't land. And with the Blitz surviving into the late round, it's really, really tough. So 3 more opportunities to conclude this half for ODIUM to try and formulate a response. But at the moment, it's looking quite dominant for Prodigy.
Pretty sure we both went with these 2 as the bottom 2 teams on our power rankings, if I'm correct.
Maybe.
Well, I know I did. I think you did as well because we had the exact same. James actually had Prodigy dead last.
Oh yeah, I had him at
and had
4-4.
ODIUM. Oh, no, I didn't mean. I'm just kind of scrolling through and I see James. He had actually ODIUM above Outlast.
Ooh, okay.
But hey, like this is Play Day 1 things, right? Where we learn a little bit more about these teams and retroactively as we continue to do the power rankings, I'm sure that will change and we'll see Outlast rise quite heavily for a lot of these. You had ODIUM and Prodigy kind of tied bottom 2, both on a score of 4. I had Prodigy actually last with ODIUM 0.5 above them. So, look, again, 3 rounds in, 3 attacking rounds from Prodigy. We need to see what ODIUM going to be able to do on the second half. But I can definitely say throughout the 3 rounds that we've seen, the quality defensively from ODIUM is not going to hold up against a lot of these other teams. A lot of positioning errors, not really playing off each other very well. Border's a difficult map to do that, but I think they're just lacking in moving. Like, I almost want to just see them play a roam game. If you're going to at least play kind of individually, play the roam game then. You know, cause more of a headache across the map for Prodigy to deal with. Splits is just kind of getting free entry and then hitting sight. They have no real counter to it.
So the Pulse brought as well, and again that may lean into the double nitro setup that they do have. Could be a potential counter. It isn't just the Blitz though that's causing trouble. 6 picks for Faulty, who's been able to garner map control pretty easily. Well, Nitro does land, not onto the Blitz, but it is at least Mackenzie off the board. And it does mean now ODIUM have an advantage they can look to lean into. But Prodigy, again, lurking themselves into good positions, but not good enough.
Nice shot.
Crying with great awareness.
Yeah.
Able to double down the advantage for this defense.
Well, I think ODIUM are at the point now where they know Prodigy is going to just blind peek, blind swing, get themselves into positions, and then go for the swing without, you know, sort of getting flashes or util or pushing together. Like, Prodigy are kind of just swinging around these corners and angles, and finally ODIUM will punish that, play a little bit more proactive on these positions. Freelo too, getting the kill onto Faulty. That will be his first death of the game, and yeah, far better here from ODIUM in this 4th round. Drop back down as well, so you hold second floor, play the hatch, drop, so that fallback defense from ODIUM, a bit more prevalent. Davey just catching a straight. He's now low on the Blitz, and this is going to be a very difficult round for Prodigy to turn back. 60 seconds, 2 players, the Blitz low. does have the diffuser, just kind of loitering around Fountain at the moment, but it will take a mighty effort, arguably a mighty throw from ODIUM to lose this round. Should be getting one on the board. And again, for these two teams, 1 to 2 defensive rounds may indeed be enough. Hard to say until we get into the second half and get the bigger picture.
Yeah, good response, and again, highlighting the snowball effect here on border.
I like that they're working through this though. Like, they're not just kind of sending it down mid. They're still playing out the round, even though it's a 2v5. They're both double drop. Too many eyes on this location.
Sending it down mid.
That's just a common saying. Come on. If you don't,
what does that mean?
Don't come at me.
I don't know. I actually don't know what that means.
Oh, shut up. Let's go to Armory and Archives now for the 5th round. You're
you just straight batted it. No run.
Now that is a very obscure reference for a lot of people.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure cricket is the most popular sport in the world.
Is it actually? Well, I guess.
Well, you think about India. That's 1 billion people.
India's doing their fair share. They're doing their fair share. They're pulling their weight.
Definitely. Big in the UK.
Yeah, but they're not a big country.
Not in size, but
not in size.
In stature.
But in stature.
Yeah.
In heart. Okay, so 1 on the board for ODIUM. 2 more opportunities here in this half. Certainly a little bit better from them, but I mean, just a case of hit their shots that time around, held some angles. Prodigy didn't really do much other than just kind of swing a couple of corners and lose players for nothing. I mean, a decent Nitrocell from Razor onto Mackenzie at the start of the round.
Hit him for 6.
Hit him for 6. He
round.
did. Yeah, well, yeah. You know who did hit straight bat in the interview with Sage? Bit disappointing.
Oh, mate. I thought we had a politician in the interview. That was a disgrace.
That was a leave more than... It's just... No run.
Through to the keeper.
5 seconds left.
It's probably the right way to play it. If you want my political answer.
Oh, yeah.
But
it was
boring.
safe. It was safe. It was boring, but it was safe. I respect it.
I'm sure Oda will give us something again next week.
Oh, no, absolutely. Especially if they keep producing results.
Yeah, what a play day one we've had here for Oceania League. Some great results. Great start to the Sage. Again, a little bit disappointing that we won't be back tomorrow, but of course super week next week to make up for it.
Great drone though in security.
Yeah, this is good. A lot of information here from Trippin.
And Ray under pressure. 0-3.
Can they actually execute off it though? It's one thing to get that drone in, get the information. Oh, what a headshot.
Yeah,
I mean, Ray just kind of gave it to him in the end, but a good shot from Bake. He was ready for the pop-up. So decent, again, from Prodigy. In terms of getting like map control and entry, they've actually been pretty decent here. It is border and can certainly facilitate. Oh, wow, that was a swing. Okay, didn't see the deployable shield. They picked the left side of it though. Elbow was just sticking out momentarily. Oh! Air jab is great. Oh, it doesn't capitalize though. Hale gets away.
He deserved reward from that. Great play.
Okay, well, Trippin wins that. Headshot onto Razor was swift and fast. Razor will go down. Advantage for Prodigy now well and truly 5-3. Easy control established in towards security. Winning the battles in towards break as well. And with that, now suddenly ODIUM stuck on site. Bit of fountain control. Armory and Archives, though, is very claustrophobic right now for ODIUM. Frelo does get one back. They're almost shooting each other. That was obviously a drone, which, by the way, in terms of the economy for said drones, is pretty healthy right now for Prodigy.
Big setup in Fountain with these Kiva barriers. Well,
what are your thoughts on the Kiva barrier setup?
Well, I'll give my retroactive analysis if it works. I don't hate it.
That's just interesting.
The Grim's a good counter, though. Blitz, though, arguably should just be able to march forward and counter it, though. We'll see.
Yeah, they're really struggling with this kind of final layer of the defense. Cryan expecting them to have pushed and played off of that smoke, but they don't really. You're also using it as a cross. There is that blitz shield in play. Bake has got the diffuser in hand. Hale losing his life twice now, kind of just caught running around. And the blitz now, as you said, to deal with this situation, and you're kidding me. He does get the kill. Traded, though, quickly by Mackenzie. And it leaves Frelo in a 1v2. Smoke still up, 25 seconds, flash. Needs to avoid that, and he does. Wants to make his way back in to see if he can either deny a plant or at least kill the planter, who stands up behind the bomb chassis. That's Bake. Half health on the Grim. Mackenzie towards Fountain. He had the cross, but Bake gets the shot to land anyway. And in the end, it's a 4th round that has been acquired for Prodigy.
Yeah, I think you can see there a couple nervous jitters from a couple players. It is their debut, so again, expected.
So what did you think of the setup in Poundon? Unique is what I would label.
Well, I mean, it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
I think it was Hale just went for a Hail Mary. Yeah, right here. Where are you running?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason, and it would make sense if I heard it, but in the moment, felt a little bit rash, and then it exposed that Fountain position.
By the way, Bake does not need to peek there because you've got a player inside a Fountain. So as long as Bake doesn't really do anything... I was
thinking the same thing. That's what I was talking about. Nervous jitters, these little moments where you put like an Oda in that situation for the 1v2. He wins that kill onto the chassis and then opens the round up.
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference between
top,
and good teams. A good team is still well and truly in the top 1% of Siege players, but
yeah, it's very easy. I mean, like
compared to the top 0.01.
I think it's always very easy to just look at this and be like, this is bronze. It's not.
Hey.
But it's, you know...
If you're bronze in chat, firstly...
It's like, what is the... I can't remember. So there was like a basketball player who was in the NBA. I think they were like a bench warmer, right? And he was like, I'm closer to LeBron James or Michael Jordan than you are to me.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the mentality when it comes to kind of any level of esports, especially with Siege, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even been able to get into the bomb chassis position to even get the plant down. I would have been getting screamed at
by me.
By you. So, final round of the half. Prodigy, though, I got to say, like, I don't want to overhype because it's very difficult when we don't have a lot of intel. I really want to be
see more
reserved with my judgment. We need to see more weeks against other teams. It is border, but their entries have actually looked decent.
The thing I really like about watching them is they're not afraid to quickly take map control. Like, they're happy to contest it early, and if they win that fight, get that advantage, get that space, they take it. They don't sit there and dawdle around. And they really maximize every second of the round, which is really good.
And that's where I think for ODIUM, one thing they can kind of look back on is like, we're playing border, but we're not really controlling the map, and we're giving them a lot of space, which means they can take fights more on their terms. Let's see next time if we can try and branch out a little bit more, be a bit more proactive on the defense. Border's the kind of map where you can spawn peek, you can run around, you can be a nuisance, you can try and deny position, fall back, and I feel like ODIUM are a little too stuck towards the site. Say that, it's the kind of round which you've got now the Oryx in play. What can Hale maybe do on that? Last time caught running around. Maybe this is the op to put him on. Razor losing his life to Bake. He goes down earlier on the Bandit. Once again, blitz employed by Davey. Yellow ping intel. Look at this drone from Mackenzie. How is this not being spotted? It's just on the floor, right in front of him. Look down, shoot the drone. What? Oh. What information made you throw that?
A message from the man upstairs.
He was looking at the floor like someone was running around, and like he must have thought he heard something. We're in this fountain setup again. That flash, I don't know if that was ultra successful. That flash was successful. They're on to Davey. The blitz getting flashed by Flashbang, but they do get the kill. Yeah, just overwhelming. I think you said it before in terms of just like they get this information, they send the bodies needed to actually deal with it. It's pretty calculated siege right now from Prodigy. ODIUM are really struggling on this map.
Yeah, I'd love to see how this...
I almost want to see ODIUM on like a clubhouse. If you're going to play this almost like site-orientated defense and you're going to hold angles, Border's not the map for this. I don't know what Hale's laughing about.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit ugly now to close down the opening half. Prodigy making very short work of ODIUM. They'll go up 5-1 going into the second half. It's an easy plant coming from Davey. Ray stuck over towards Supply. He's getting...
Come on, you can get one. You can get one. Get your one. There we go.
Can he get a second one? Not quite.
Nah.
Almost. Almost.
You got a stat pad, though. That's all that matters.
Oh, missed the chat. It's always like...
He said, read like a book, bud. I don't know who to who, but...
Read like a book, bud.
On God. Yeah, look, 5-1 half. Can't argue with that.
What do you think we're going to see in the second half, though? Do you think that it's going to now just flip and we're going to see Prodigy also struggle on defense? I mean, I'm not too sure, because honestly, the way that ODIUM played that half, I don't think Prodigy is going to play the same way.
I don't think he landed a single bullet on the drop.
Until he landed on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably the way it should be. Yeah, not entirely sure for the second half. I'm very intrigued to see if that attack approach from Prodigy on this map or others will hold up against better teams.
So, my observation of Prodigy there, Davey, talk about, you know, selflessness, playing that role on the blitz where you've got a clear identity that I'm not going to frag out, I'm not going to get kills, but I'm going to help facilitate my teammates. So when you look at these kind of teams, I feel like a lot of the times it's like everyone wants to make a name for themselves. Everyone wants to be like the next hero gunner that's going to like get picked up from another team next stage kind of thing. And everyone's going to be like, oh, you know, Faulty or Mackenzie or Bake or whatever. Like they fragged out that stage. Look at their stats. Like we need a new gunner. Let's go and pick one of them up. But like Davy's just playing that team role really, really well. And you think about guys in the region over the years that have been able to do something like that. Digital, Juicy, for example. There's others. Fisher guy. Right, they have that selfishness about, or selflessness, I should say, about them that we don't always see at the lower level of these teams. So I'm just kind of giving some props to Davey. He's only 2-2, but I thought he played the blitz well enough and certainly was able to help provide for his team and facilitate a lot of those kills that they were able to get off of him.
And now we get to put the microscope on Crime playing the blitz here after a re-pick. But unfortunately for his team, ODIUM lose that early engagement. Ace also off the board, so certainly not the best of starts and compromises their hard breach ability for the remainder of this particular round. Keep it barrier extension. This is pretty popular these days in through break. But unfortunately, it's falling apart.
This looks a little bit more of a normalized defense, though, from Prodigy. Look how they've actually extended out towards like security, denying entry from break. They're making sure that ODIUM aren't just going to get free map control. Try and keep them out on the exterior balcony positions, for example. So, yeah, I mean, this probably almost answers my question that I posed at the half already. Yes, it's only the first round. Yes, it's only the first instance of seeing Prodigy on the defense. But immediately they look a little bit more like the kind of team we would expect at the sort of Pro League level to play defense border. Yellow ping intel for Hale, but so difficult to play off it. You've got to now push with Crime. You've got to play off your blitz here. See if you can create a couple of 1v1s. See if Prodigy get a bit bored and antsy and peak. Faulty could probably fall back at this point. Not a lot of time left. You know, you don't want to kind of keep yourself in a position where you can get overwhelmed 2v1. Oh, he plays the long angle, though. Backs himself in. In the end, it's just kind of a 0-0 draw. But for Prodigy, information. I know it's an East-Airs push.
And they also know this round is theirs, provided they don't feed into the blitz.
They're not running around, are they?
Not too much. They have a little bit. But I think they're more so looking to team up together, 2-2 split. Makes sense. Establish a cross or a trade potential. Hail to rotate. Crane sets up archives. Boost in play.
Can they kill him on the window here? If Crine's patient enough. Yep.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I think Trippin just almost sort of forgot about it. The way he was positioned there. Smoke goes out, 30 seconds, suddenly 3v2. Good window position for Hale to play off. Crane.
All below.
From below.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the numbers, though, of course, such a big disadvantage for ODIUM. They can't cover all aspects. It's not like you need all three players. Second floor watching the smoke, have one below, be able to stop the entry. And there's nothing that Hale can do from here. It will be 6-1 for Prodigy. As soon as he makes his way in, nothing but cannon fodder. Well, definitely some learnings from this game for ODIUM, but definitely for Prodigy. We're gonna need to see more. We're gonna need to see more against other opponents, but they've looked, pretty decent in this game. Certainly, they look like they have more understanding of the basic fundamentals at this kind of level than what we're seeing from their opponents.
Yeah, they have a bit more of a hold of the meta. Attack, they leaned into the blitz, got good space, entry, snowball
That's
rounds
so
quickly.
Quick from Davey again, man. I almost want to give him MVP.
Yeah. I mean, that
is he my Geo?
Well, that is a big... Shit. That is a pretty big play. There's still a world in which if they actually commit horizontally with the Grim, with having a full belt of util, it's a throwable round. So by sending a player down below and having that alternate dimension is really good.
I'm not sure how old Davey is, though, so I don't know if he's a young gunner, judging by his player cam. I don't think he's 18.
Not an 06,
I could be wrong. I mean, I'd certainly... I honestly wouldn't card him. Like, I would... If I was a bartender and he came up and was like, can I have a pint of Carlton Draft? I'd be like, yeah, sure, mate.
I wouldn't give anyone a pint of Carlton Draft.
What would you give them? Heineken?
An apple juice.
An apple juice.
In this environment?
In this environment?
Yeah.
Okay. You're boring. Just like Sage. Straight bat.
There's still some very confused Americans in the chat. Probably thinking that we're talking about
What, Foster's?
baseball. Wait, what?
Foster's.
Oh, yeah, they know what that is.
Yeah,
I'm also meant the cricket reference.
Oh, right, the cricket. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Well, we don't actually drink
No, we don't.
that brand of apple juice here. At least I never have.
It's hard to get probably too overhyped in terms of Prodigy because ODIUM have looked a little bit lackluster, truthfully.
If this was against a proverbial top 4 team, we'd be up
or
and
even,
about,
or even, I was going to say like a Supernova, Circular Spheres, you know, the kind of teams that maybe aren't like top 2 contender worthy, but they've been around the block for a while.
So proverbial top 4, as I said.
Yeah.
Were you listening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray is locked in, though. I'll give him that much. He is locked in.
He has not moved.
We did mention it to Tech Pause, right?
We did. I don't think so, actually. No, sorry, we got Tech Pause here. If that wasn't evident.
We are just yapping until the game resumes, which hopefully isn't too far away.
There we go. I don't think this one's going to last too much longer, truthfully. That music is intense, though. Some of the best music that we've got regionally. Sort of like synthwave, retro theme vibe going on. Love it.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
Why'd you flinch?
Flinch what?
Oh, okay. I thought you flinched. I was going to say I didn't even do anything. 7-1?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't a question. It was a statement.
Oh, right.
I did kind of...
Who do you give MVP to? Are you on the Davey train? It's not often the supports really kind of walk away with the plaudits, but 4-2-1.
Everyone else has been so solid and consistent and hasn't had any amazing plays that, honestly, Davey isn't a bad shout, right? On the blitz, he did his job phenomenally, didn't throw away his life. Good plant denial there in round number 7.
Attackers are heading out to defuse
I think
the
he
bomb.
deserves some love.
Yeah, I like giving a shout out to the more supportive players.
I really hope he doesn't go 0-8 next playday, otherwise your curse really does exist.
I guess I could quickly say who, if you've got your little tablet in front to find out maybe who Prodigy kind of will be facing next up.
I can do that for you, just give me a
Yeah,
second.
I know you can do it, and I just figured it might take you like a good 10 to
Sometimes
15.
I am a little bit slow.
Yeah, that's all right.
Playday 2, Prodigy will be taking on Chiefs.
Okay.
Could be interesting.
I mean, I like that as the kind of matchup, though, because Chiefs are still, you know, a little bit volatile as a roster.
Unproven.
Yeah. We will learn a bit more about Prodigy next week.
I think this game's almost over.
Yeah, I mean, it is. GG from Freelo.
Don't leave the lobby, please.
He's on the losing team, though, so it's a bit different.
And he could still leave.
Oh, the game's not over just yet, though, with Razor finding that kill on to Davey. Freelo on his team, not thinking that Razor and Ray. Razor Ray. Now that is an obscure reference. He has retired, actually. Mr. Chamberlain.
We're going for cricket to AFL.
It's the Oceania League, come on. Flash to go in. Oh, he's actually still full white, though, Bake.
What is going on?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Trippin gets the kill onto Razor. No one. I think they must have been both full white. Well, game is done. Desk better be ready. Bake will finish it off onto Ray. 7-1. It's a quick one to close out. Playday 1 of Stage 2 Oceania League. All smiles for Prodigy. They were far too good. And there is a gap, definitely, between those two teams. If at the beginning of the broadcast, when we did the power rankings, we thought maybe these two teams would be, well, close. They couldn't be